I get most of my clientele and business from realtors through social media.
Hi, welcome to the Mortgage Megaphone. Today I am with Cori Spartana, who is located in Baltimore, Maryland. She is at the Embrace Home Loans Timonium branch, coming to us live from there. So, hey, Cori.
Thanks so much for having me today.
I'm so glad we're doing this. As I was like getting ready, thinking about things, I always like want to know how people like get into this business and how people become loan officers and what it's like. I was like, wait a minute, I don't actually know Cori's origin story or how she got into this crazy business. So I feel like we're gonna have a chance to just get to know each other better, and I can get super curious. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about it. How did you end up here?
Definitely. So my journey into mortgages is actually a little bit crazy, but essentially I was a college student, fifth year super senior at Towson University. Didn't know what I wanted to do with life. I had played sports most of my life, played two sports in college, went overseas, lived in China for a year, went back to my homeland, my roots, because I'm adopted from China. And then when I got to Towson, all I wanted to do was graduate and get into the business world. I knew I wanted to make really good money, work with people, travel a little bit, but I really had no idea what I wanted to do. My fifth year as a senior at Towson, my last class to graduated, I needed an internship class. And at that point in time, I had 1 week to make the deadline to find the internship and graduate that semester. All of a sudden, somebody randomly just cold called me one day. It was just kind of like God had answered my, my prayers or desperation, if you call it. And it was a mortgage company on the other line. It was actually a refinance call center local to Maryland. And they said, hey, we have an internship position, 2 weeks paid for. Just come check out our facilities and, be around for 2 weeks. I said, easy enough, sign my internship papers, graduate, thank you, and then just part ways. And obviously it didn't happen out that way. I ended up going to the facilities. They loved me. I loved them. It was a great work atmosphere. I was just super eager to jump into my career. So having not known anything about mortgages, didn't even know mortgage had two G's in it at the time. Got my loan officer license, within months. And then within the first year, I ended up being probably one of the top refinance loan officers on the floor. And I just had really a knack for sales. And that was kind of the start of my mortgage experience. How I got over to cross country, fairway, the purchase side of the business. I wanted a little bit more creativity, a little bit more flexibility. And Embrace was just the perfect culmination of all the different lenders I'd experienced prior to, where I really felt finally at home, where I could plant roots and really grow out the business the way I wanted to.
Awesome. We're so lucky you're here. This is so great. I also started a career in on the phone selling refinances. So, and I was young as well. So I really relate to that. And I always think to myself, like, oh, if the people on the other side of the phone realized they're just talking to like a kid who had never bought a house and didn't really quite know what they were doing. But I love doing it. And it is amazing, like the way you can really get to know people over the phone, especially when you're talking about their finances. What do you think made you so good at that job?
I think the key to sales is listening, really listening, and then being a problem solver. It's very easy to have the lowest interest rates. It's super easy to have your Rolodex of programs and products. But if you can't educate and you can't make the consumer on the other side of the line feel comfortable and trust what you're saying, um, there's really not a sale at the end of the day. And there's so many mortgage companies that have been popping up. Mortgage companies come and go, loan officers come and go. But unless you're really there to serve people, to solve problems, consumer's not going to trust you. So that
Right.
was really my way of creating and breaking down that barrier to the first time home buyers, the move-up buyers, etc.
Yeah. Do you have a method for kind of like learning what people's problems are that they need you to solve?
I ask questions. So typically I have some type of template, or I like to do an introductory discovery phone call for all my clients, or whether it's a Zoom, and really just let them speak, like, what is their budget? What's most important to them in this transaction? I'm just here to help basically be their loan matchmaker. So whatever they're looking for, whether it's a certain budget, price point, timeline, etc., I'm asking all those questions, those probing questions, to be able to really customize my loan options to what they're looking for.
And I find the loan officers I know who start in call centers, when you switch over to the retail side of the business, like there's definitely some shock involved when it comes to having to go out, meet, make those relationships. But I do find that loan officers who've been in the call centers have so many more at bats. You're just doing so much more volume. You're doing so many more units. So you've seen all the like different things in different states, different types of programs. So you definitely have that going for you. How did you leverage that when you were going out to try and start making relationships?
Yeah, definitely. So you're absolutely right. Refinance, I came in around that 2.25% refinance era, which was amazing.
It's
All you
just
had to do was
that's printing money all day.
pick up the phone. As long as you picked up the phone and there's daylight hours, we're making money. I was
Yep.
closing, 30, 40 units a month in refinance. And like I said, all you had to do was be available. You didn't really need sales skills. You didn't have high interest rates. It was just a very easy sale. But it was nice because we had so many at bats. You could mess up. It was the company's leads and monies at that point in time. I wasn't paying for marketing or advertising. All I did was sit behind a desk like Wolf of Wall Street and just ring, ring, ring. But now that I'm on the purchase side of the business, I tell everybody it was like going from JV to the NBA or the NFL. It was like the minor to the major, major leagues. And it's because on the purchase side, you're 100% commission. You don't have the fallback of a salary or a set hourly. It's really whatever you hunt and kill, that's what you make. What you put it into it is what you get out. So my strategy coming over to purchase was having known my guidelines, having had all those at bats, I felt confident approaching and again leading with education. That I really leveraged social media. I get most of my clientele in business from realtors through social media. So I reached out through DMs, through posting, content, really engagement, being engaged, being present, not always those cookie cutter Canvas or AI chat GBT
Yep.
templates at this point, but no, I've definitely used social media as kind of my in or soft approach to the agents. And just again, really gaining the trust and making it partnership based. The more that it's a collaborative partnership versus a one-sided relationship or transactional, it's really all about the trust and who you know in this side of the business.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really interesting. I love that you are getting most of your business from social media and you're clarifying that it is from referral partners. So it's not direct to consumer social media, which can be incredibly hard to scale, but you are really just creating those relationships first on social. So are you deliberate about that, or does it just kind of happen organically once you start following people?
I think when I first got into the purchase side of the business about 4 or 5 years ago, I was told to cast my net wide. So it wasn't necessarily about quality, it was more about quantity. So we would just text, DM, message as many agents as we could find on social media. And it was really let's hope one sticks, two sticks. 10%, 20% conversion was, yay, we had a great day.
Sure.
And now that I have so many agents, 200, 300, 400 agents that I could call or have worked with in the past, now I'm more intentional about my time and now focusing and honing in on the quality agents or the agents where we have similar values or we have similar business outlooks where we want to grow the business a certain way based on the same principles, customer service, education, etc. So, and especially with being a mom, I don't have the hours in the day to necessarily waste or spread myself as thin as I was in previous years. But I've seen both methods work tremendously well.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, so and happy birthday to baby Kai, turned 1, I saw on Instagram. So that's so fun. And so this last year has been a huge change being a mom, and still closing a lot of deals. So kudos to you. I'm always surprised. Like I feel like it could go either way as a loan officer, where it would just seem like I will say, okay, so I was in a call center when I had my first son. I became a mom very young, and I at the time thought I'm in sales. It's all day. I'm on the phone. It was different because I really was chained to the desk, right? But I didn't think I'd have it in me to also mom after work. And nowadays, I keep seeing these working mom retail loan officers who are out there about they've got the baby on the hip or they're doing whatever and they're killing it. So, what do you think about being a retail loan officer and a mom at the same time?
Not for the weak. Sales in general is not for the weak. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think now being a mom and being a loan officer, before it was about how many things can we like, squeeze out of the day, like how many touches, how many conversations can I have, and it's still that's still very necessary. But it's now again about intentional conversations. Like, what is the intention behind every action, every conversation? Who do I really want to surround myself with at this point in the business? And at the end of the day, when you have a hard day at work or you get maybe a few too many no's, really still creating those boundaries and setting aside that family time so that you can refill your cup. Because when
Mm,
you're completely empty, you're exhausted, you're postpartum, you have nothing else to give, it starts to reflect in the sale.
yeah.
Agents will realize, oh, she's too busy, or they can tell, they can sense, and they also can relate. A lot of my agents are moms, or they have families and growing families. So now there's like this new connection that I have with some of my realtor partners where we can talk about our kids outside of just work. It's again not solely transactional anymore, which is great. And
Yeah.
some of my strongest agents are other moms and other families with kids where our families can come together and have cookouts and barbecues. And it's just great. It's great growing everything together, both the business and the personal lives.
I love that. I think that's so cool, especially because I think that you're with people who are also building, also growing, are serious about their business, and understand the limitations when you have a baby and the strengths that come out of that. It's like you're not wasting time. Like you don't have time to waste, and it almost becomes a superpower, I think.
Absolutely. No, it definitely
Yeah.
does. It's a balance. I've become a really, really great multitasker.
Right.
Baby on one hip or in a pack and play, doing outbounds. So, but I love the fact that he gets to witness this as well. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that with, the business growing and more financial stability, we now can like pour back into our family, whether it's trips or experiences or showing him like mom and dad are doing this for you and your future.
Awesome. It's so excellent. Like it's such a great gift to do that all together. I think that's so cool. And then so one thing that you and I have chatted about a little bit is how you have developed some relationships that are maybe not directly right in Baltimore, right? So you're kind of like local in multiple places. So tell me a little bit about like how that came about. It's social media, right?
Yes, it really did stem off social media. So again, it's all about who you know. My second biggest market to the DC, Maryland, Virginia, the DMV area is Atlanta. And
Yeah.
everybody asks, why Atlanta? How'd you get in Atlanta? And when I say it's a good chunk of my business, it probably makes up about at least 30-40% of the business. And again, I don't have any real estate in Atlanta at this point. I do have some family further down south in North Carolina, parts of Georgia, but Atlanta just became personal for me because I had some friends from high school who ended up going to school out in Atlanta. I had a really great sports opportunity in college to go down to Atlanta to Emory to play. Didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, but I was just like, something, some way, somehow, I need to be back in Atlanta. And I did through real estate. It really just started with one DM, one trip, one weekend. Reached out to 3 or 4 agents. Those 3 or 4 agents, maybe two of them took a lunch with me. After that lunch, I started getting some contracts, and very quickly, over a matter of a couple months, couple years, I've grown my Atlanta business. It's one of my strongest markets. Same with Ohio. I connected with a group of Ohio agents probably last summer, and since then they've become one of my top producing teams, and they cover the Ohio Cincinnati market, $40 million producing team of 6 girls.
Cool. Do all these does your agents like do they have anything in common? Do you have a particular niche or ideal client like in an agent that kind of you guys click?
Yeah. So when I prospect my agents, I'm really looking for somebody who does business the right way. So I'm big on, authenticity, accountability, just being prideful in what they do. So if you're not proud to be a realtor, you're not proud to like help other people, then we're probably not the best fit. But I really look for people who are passionate, who are boots on the ground, willing to go the extra mile for their clients. Education, it's very easy to sell high interest rates. It's very easy to make sure your commissions are, but at the end of the day, for me, it's really all about helping people. So I align with those agents best. Um, and like I said, I mean, most of my agents, I want to grow old together. I want us to retire together. So
Yeah.
if we're not in like minds and it's just, well, what can you do for me? And there's no collaboration. Again, probably not the best fit.
That's awesome. I think that it's great. So you just have similar values basically. And you know when these are going to be the types of people that yeah, you'll want to retire together. I think that's so cool. Like you and people are you're a very driven person. You kind of give off a lot of like leadership qualities, so I can see why they would want to join on with you and be like, "Okay, I'm going to be in it with Cori."
Yep. I get a lot of my agents outside of social media also through referral. So if I find one agent, hey, I really like how you do things, or I like your integrity or your work practice, your ethic, I'll ask, hey, do you have similar agents who work like you, or similar agents that you love and you can refer and recommend? And that's how I've also grown my realtor base as well.
That's great. And then, so when you, and oh, wait, I want to talk about this as I cut myself off because I'm jumping around. Because you mentioned sports. You're a softball player, right? And still a softball coach.
I am. I am.
You are so busy. So tell me about coaching. Like, why is that important to you?
Yes. So, played softball all my life. Well, I played soccer, softball, and basketball all my life. So, I've always been around sports. Just competitive, I guess, in nature. It's something innate that I was born with. But after playing college softball, I just didn't want to walk away from the game. So, I ended up doing a lot of volo. So, volo here in Maryland is kind of like adult co-ed softball or sports
Okay.
leagues.
And they
Where it's
call it what, bolo?
volo,
Vol
VOLO.
Oh, okay.
And it
Bolo.
has a charity piece combined with it as well, but essentially is to help raise money for youth and Baltimore City programs. But it's really great because it's a social event, an hour for adults, young adults, working professionals, and you get to stay around the game and play semi-competitively. You might have a beer can in your hand every once in a while, putting down first base. But it was great. I did that for years, and then I got this opportunity to go back to my alma mater for my high school, and they asked me if I wanted to come back and coach as their head coach. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years, which has definitely been a time commitment, but it's so fulfilling. And I love being around the girls. I love giving back and just really pouring back into this next generation of kids.
Yeah. What are the girls like?
Goofy. The girls are goofy. They will say certain slogans or slang, and I have no idea what they're talking about. It's like a whole different language. And they call me old at this point, and I look at them, and I don't consider myself old. I'm still on the bottom end. Like I'm not
You're on
30.
the young, trust me, you're
I'm
young.
20.
Yes.
I'm still in the remaining years of my 20s.
Yeah.
So when these kids are telling me, "Oh, I was born in 2010 or two," and I'll be like, "Wow, you guys do make me feel a little old."
Yeah.
But no, there's so much joy and so much fun. And again, outside of being a mom, it's one of the things that I look forward to outside of work that keeps pouring back into that cup and refilling me and refueling me so that when I do come back to work, I'm ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I can see, I mean, so many athletes are good at sales, so that adds up. And then I also think like all the data around girls, especially like how important sports are in their development and confidence and stuff. So it's like it's important work to do. I think that's awesome. I didn't ask you much about your team and like how you're set up. I know you've been at Embrace now for a few months. So tell me about that. Do you have an assistant or you just work with the loan processor directly?
So I work with the most amazing loan processor. I can't rave about her enough. Kelly
Okay.
McCullough. She is out of the Timonium branch and she is a beast. Like when I say I've had a few processors throughout my mortgage career, Kelly, I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it so quickly and as well as she does it. But I give a lot of my success and kudos to her because without her, I'd probably be just a little percentage of what I am. So I love my processor dearly. In regards to our branch, we are a newer branch. So we're under Matt O'Connell's branch, and Tim Higgins also sits in our branch. He's our VP. But we have three loan officers. So it's me, Jacob, and Stephanie. And they all have come in around the same time as myself. So we're all fairly new to Embrace. But when I tell you all our personalities, all our background, education, experience, we're so different, but all so the same.
That's
And
cool.
it's just a great collaboration. We I love my branch. I can't, you know, ask for anything else.
Oh, that's so great. It's so important to have those people around. And also you, Stephanie, and Jacob kind of coming in similar, like learning together. And you probably learn a lot from each other too, because you all came from three different mortgage
Very
company,
different.
correct?
Yes. So one came from more of like a grant down payment assistance background. The other individual came from more like a broker side, and then myself, I've been more retail. But when I say
Like big IMB, yeah.
we all feed off of each other's energy. You know, whenever anybody's struggling or has questions with guidelines, we all are pretty much in office. So it's really great. I couldn't, like I said, I like my team.
Uh, So cool. Okay, well, before I let you go, is there Kelly?
That's Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a goal for 2026 you're headed for?
I would love to. Well, right now, I think I'm pacing for the best volume year of my career on the purchase
Okay.
side. So I'm continuing hoping for the up and up. I won't
Mhm.
disclose my number on this call,
Okay. Okay.
but I
But
do
you
hope that
have one in mind.
I do have one in mind.
Okay.
But I think this will be my biggest retail purchase year to date, which I'm excited about.
Sweet.
Same with in units too. So I mean, in regards to future years here at Embrace, I hope to continue to build this office, get more loan officers, maybe an assistant in the near future. Tim, Max, greatly appreciate it. Um, but, and then just really take advantage of everything Embrace has to offer. I feel like I've barely been able to scratch the surface because I've been so busy, but really diving into the PVCs and diving into like the marketing support. When I tell you, I've barely even touched those topics or items. They're kind of like little tools in my arsenal belt that I haven't even brought to surface or fruition. I'm just really excited about all the opportunities I have left.
Yeah, it's nice to know there's still tools in there that you haven't even had to use yet, and you're going to have one of the best years of your career, so or the best. So that's promising for the future for sure. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. All right, well, Cori, I think we'll wrap it up. This has been so great chatting with you, and I already feel like I know you better. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Definitely. Thank you, Meg. I appreciate you.